your hand. After it's all over, hurt has made its cleft. Underbelly scarred, I'm the shape of all that's left. Oh, confused, asunder, I get forlorn. Your weight has pulled me under. Shoreline after a storm. Shoreline after a storm. Shoreline after a storm.
Hey, all right. That was fun.
Super fun. It's lovely to be in this dark room here and just jamming away.
Yeah. All right. It sure is hot in here. Holy smokes.
Down in the tropics.
I'm gonna go down to New Orleans. I'll buy some diamonds and a big machine. Across Mississippi to the Georgia line. Up in them hills where a man can hide. Ain't never going back to Wichita, Oklahoma, or Arkansas. Feet on the pegs, hair in the wind. Notify the county and my next of kin. They can search my name, but that won't help. You'll never find me. I'll be someone else. Ain't never going back to Wichita, Oklahoma, or Arkansas. Wait for my letter when the spring arrives. Buy a Greyhound ticket and a dress that's white. I'll be standing in my Sunday suit, a Panama hat, and my daddy's boots. Ain't never going back to Wichita, Oklahoma, or Arkansas, Oklahoma or Arkansas. All right, that one goes out to all the people who escaped the United States.
So that last one is going to be going on our next album that we've started to work on. It'll be releasing sometime in 2022. And this next one was written by Johnny, For My Love, and it's one of the favorites of the radio stations all over the world that've been playing it regularly. Thank you so much, everyone. For My Love. It's on our last album.
I'll sit with the pain until the sun shines again for my love, for my love, for my love. Trembling heart, lying in the street, you know I'd do anything for my love, for my love, for my love. For my love, I'm willing to abide the words on the wind and the hands of time, hiding in the shadows down along the shore. I keep on coming back to where I was before. For my love, for my love, for my love. Underneath the surface, just beyond the shine, I send everything I have to the other side. For my love, for my love, for my love, for my love. All right, got a couple tunes that name places, and this is one of them. It's called Calgary Skyline.
I think this one's going to be our next album too, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, I think so. That'd be nice.
So for friends that are listening in Calgary right now, this one's for you.
Yeah. Calgary skyline, I'm gonna get it right this time. With hands in her pockets so hard on my fingers it figures I dropped it. Alberta sunrise, deep in the suburbs of my mind. Her head on my shoulder, I gathered her in, but I couldn't hold her. Dark clouds form where warm winds blow. Wait a little while and see where this goes. It's been said and I've been told that rivers run through banks of gold. Some are bought and some are sold. Sun altar moonrise, I'm heading west on a 705, with the sky full of thunder and drops on the windows. I ride and I wonder, golden twilight, finding my feet I step outside into the cold air where I recall it all, and I find that I still care. Dark clouds form where warm winds blow. Wait a little while and see where this goes. It's been said and I've been told, rivers run through banks of gold. Some are bought and some are sold.
This next song was written by me earlier this year after my mom passed away early in 2021, and unfortunately we had to quarantine when I got home from spending a week at her bedside, and so I couldn't be with my beloved. And we had 2 weeks there where we had to quarantine in different parts of the house with plastic in between us. It was really intense, but we got through it. And it was an intense time for me for songwriting, and this is one of the songs that came out of that time. It's called I Will Wait. My shoulders in the dark, just before the dawn, alone in our bed with my lonely dreams. I was tossed like a ship upon the storm, and I will wait, I will wait. I will wait for his song, and every note in the soft melody brings me close to the nest of his arms. turns the hair on my skin, holds me wrapped and waiting for the rasp in his voice, and the notes that he sings join the places in me that were broken. And I will wait, I will wait, I will wait for his song, and every note in the soft melody brings me close to the nest of his arms. In that morning hour, just west of the sun, the old owl calls her nightly morn, and I will wait in a bed for my only love, with infinite expectation of the dawn. And I will wait, I will wait, I will wait for his song, and every note in the soft melody brings me close to the nest of his arms, and every note in the soft melody brings me close to the nest of his arms.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Heather. All right, here's an old favorite of my mom's. So this one goes out to my mom, who might be out there listening. It's called Home. Home, home, home. Please take me home. I've been out on this road too long. There's wind in my heart and a chill in my bones. Home, home, home. Please take me home. Love, love, love. Please give me love. I've had a lot, but that's not enough. Like a driving rain falling from above. Love, love, love. Please give me love. Time, time, time. Please give me time. so that I can live my life blazing like a star through the darkest night. Time, 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 please give me time. Home, 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 please take me home.
I love that song so much, Johnny.
Ah, that makes 2 fans. All right.
There you go. You know, one of the reasons I fell in love with you is because of your beautiful songwriting, and that was one of them. So, shout out to Patty Castle, who's listening today and who introduced us.
Yes, thank you, Patty. Okay,
All
I
right,
think we
so-
should turn it up a little bit here, maybe.
Yeah, this next song is a little louder, so you might want to turn your radio down a little.
Or up.
Or up, maybe. So it's kind of a sad song, so apologies for that, but it's about the famous wolf who reached international notoriety because he lived here on a little island called Discovery Island, just off Vancouver Island, and he lived alone, and he was a sea wolf that had traveled hundreds of kilometers, I think it was, by but like between walking and they think, anyways, and swimming. They're incredible swimmers, and unfortunately, he was killed by a hunter quite recently, and we were requested by a fantastic organization called Pacific Wild to play at a recent event where they presented a petition to Parliament of 500,000 signatures requesting that the BC NDP government end the wolf cull that happens every year, where they attack wolves from helicopters. Sniper rifleists go into helicopters and kill wolves. And it's an outdated, barbaric practice that's supposedly to help caribou, but science has shown that's not the case. So we were invited to play at this event, and in the weeks leading up to the event, a song was haunting me, and it was this song. So if Cheryl Alexander, who brought Takea to world renown, is listening today, which I know she was planning on being on the radio today, Cheryl, thank you for telling the world about Takea, and this one's for you.
Water break.
All right, here we go. I can barely see in this place, but I love it. Okay. You set the pace for us, Johnny. See the gold in the light of his eye. Lone wolf, I hear the echo of his cry. The shame of my kin nearly burns me alive. But the dark won't win, the sun will arise. Do you hear him calling on the wind? Stand in truth, I stand in pain. May his death not be in vain. The tide is low, but it will rise again. I hear the footsteps on the leaves. The birds are silent in the trees. I shall not turn, I shall not run. It's not a war, it's a lesson in love. To care on the mound. Hate has been his training ground. What was lost cannot be found. But I choose hope and I sing it clear and loud. To care, to care, to
All right, I think, is that it?
I think that's the end of our set. So thank you everybody for listening, and I think Asia now is going to ask us a few questions about
Whoa!
our our music here.
That was the electronic portion of the gig.
Yeah, that was my proportion. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay,
We're good to unplug everything in here and all that stuff? Yeah, all right, all right.
cool. Awesome. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, my first question, actually, you both answered it pretty quickly. You had mentioned how you had met. Shout out Patty. Thank you so much. But how did you end up making music together?
Well, that's how we met, is we got together with our friend Patty, who's also a musician, to jam some. And what else would you add to that, Heather?
It was pretty obvious that we had an amazing connection from the start. I mean, I didn't know what that connection was. I didn't know if it was just musical or if it was just a friendship or what, but we were just enthralled with each other, or for me anyway. Shouldn't speak for Johnny. We're kind of enthralled with each other.
It's mutual.
It's mutual, yeah. And we just had a connection from day one. And we met in 2019. And so we haven't been together really that long, all things considered, and we've already had this incredible arc of experience from recording together and being on the radio and recording an album, our first album that came out in January, and Just Beyond the Shine. And that's already been, oh my God, it was it was quite a tidal wave of what's happened there with everything. And now we're recording a second album, and we live together now, and a lot of stuff has happened since 2019.
Wow, that's incredible. That's great. My second question would be, what inspired the name Peach and Quiet? It's an excellent name, by the way.
You like it, eh?
I really do like the pun.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
We've had pretty positive response to it all around the world, though. There was one radio, I think it was the guy at BBC Scotland. He was like, what's with that name? But I don't know. I think it was him. Sorry, Ian, if it wasn't you. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was an interesting experience to come up with that name, because we were a band for a few months before we had a name. And I went to a place in Barbados about 25 years ago or something. And there was this cute little hotel there that was painted peach, and it was called the Peach and Quiet Hotel. And it was this kind of, 3-star little, nothing fancy, but it just always stuck in my name, Peach and Quiet. And there's a number of reasons that we wanted peaches in the name, a peach in the name of the band name. I won't tell you all those reasons, but so we were like, we were just joking, and we were saying we should call it Peach and something. And we were coming up with, names and just brainstorming. And I think I said, oh, well, Peach and Quiet, because of this hotel I'd heard of. And Johnny was like, that's the name. And I was like, really? Do you like that name? And yeah, and that's been really fun, because so the guy who designed our album cover is the inimitable, Juno-winning and many Juno-nominated Michael Rycraft, and he has designed over 800 album covers in his lifetime. He is a phenomenal designer. If you're listening today, Michael, I'd say you're the best in Canada, but what do I know? And everybody in the business knows him, and he just went to town with designs with that Peach and Quiet name. And I don't know if you've seen, I gave you guys a sticker around here. There's it's pretty cute, right? What he came up with, I love it. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Would you ever tour just this is off the books, but would you tour at Peach and Quiet? This is like a request to Peach and Quiet in Barbados, was it?
Oh
To
my
have you
God,
guys,
what a
yeah.
great idea.
I think so.
Yeah,
Do you like
that'd
that
be
idea?
great.
That'd be
Love
fun,
that.
eh?
Yeah.
We're working now on a European tour, hopefully for later 2022 or maybe 2023, depending on how things land and COVID. And we got a lot of requests when we got tons of reviews over in Europe, like France and Belgium and Germany, and people asking us, are you going to come? And so we have lots of contacts over there now. So we're planning on touring over there, but we don't have plans to go to the Caribbean yet. But that's not a bad idea.
Not
Go to
yet.
Barbados.
So waiting for the invite.
Anyone out there listening from the Caribbean, all we need is an invite.
It's a formal request. Awesome. And both of you during the performance have mentioned family and the meaning of family in your music. I wonder if you could possibly talk a little bit more about that.
Sure, Johnny.
Wow, family. Well, I'm an only child, and my mom is in Canada, and my dad's in the States, and
They're both musical, though.
yeah, they're both
They're
musical.
pretty cool people, honestly. Tell them about your parents. They're really
Yeah, my
cool.
dad's a reggae DJ on a community radio station in Ashland, Oregon. And my mom, once upon a time, was the engineer that helped build Co-op Radio in Vancouver.
One of the only female radio engineers in Canada
At that time,
at that time.
Wow.
Really cool.
And she mixed a lot of live sound, so I remember, taking a nap under the soundboard at a famous bar called Rohan's in Kitsilano way back in the day. But yeah, that's a bit about my family.
You have the coolest family history with music. Mine is so much less cool, but but it's very musical in its own way. Well, it was because my dad played the Hammond organ,
Okay.
and the big old Hammond B12 with a Leslie speaker. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, he had one of those, and every night of the week after his day job, he would load it up on the van and go down to the Legion Hall and various moose clubs and stuff in Ontario when I was a kid, and play. And he would round us kids up and ask us to get up on stage with him occasionally, maybe once a week or something. We would do that the way I remember it anyway. And I was the youngest in my family, and I loved it. I just took to the stage. It was my favorite place to be. And my sisters, maybe they liked it at one time, but they were much cooler and getting to be teenagers, so it wasn't as fun for them as me, but I just kept at it. And then my dad left the family when I was 7, and by then my sisters weren't doing it anymore as far as I know. And so I used to invent gigs all over the place. Like, it was just like I'd go to the local mall and I'd talk to the manager and I'd ask if he would allow me to set up a little mini band, and we'd sing at Christmas time and put a hat out and get some money and busk in the mall. Or my mom, when we would go to a restaurant, she'd go to the bathroom, and by the time she came back out, I was up on the stage with my girlfriends singing. She'd be like, oh God, Heather's up on stage again. So it was kind of like I loved it. But then I went through this long hiatus where I never played at all for about 30 years.
Wow.
And about 5 years ago, I met a second family. I can call them family. Tracy Summers, who used to have a folk radio show here at CKUV,
really?
is very involved in the folk music world, and our friends at the Folk Club. And they became kind of like a second family to me, and they mentored me to getting back out musically and getting on stage. And yeah, so it's kind of nice. I got lots of family around.
I'll just give a shout out to my Pender family too.
Oh yeah, your Pender
Pender
family.
is just a big family, and love all those people over there.
There's so many musicians on Pender and artists, and we're all friends, and it's a wonderful place to be a musician. So supportive.
My brother Tom Dodge, he's a big part of my family. So.
Yeah. Do you want to shout out where you can find Tom Dodge or other artists from Pender?
He likes to lie low.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except for now.
Cool.
when
He
he's
used to
better now.
run the Blues Underground up in Nanaimo.
Oh, cool.
And there was a school up there too that he ran, and he's toured around. He's a harmonica player, and yeah, he's well known,
Pretty
but he's
awesome.
pretty private too.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, another thing I wanted to mention, you had mentioned that you had played with Steve Dawson in Nashville and did some songwriting. And
Yeah, it was
that
such an
experience.
amazing experience. Do you want to describe that, Johnny, or do you want me to jump in? So, in lockdown, there wasn't any opportunity to play music. I'm sure you've heard this from many musicians, and which was, in some ways, you think it would be good. You're locked down, it's a time to write, but most people weren't writing during that time. Most people got a lot of blocks. And so Johnny decided, that we were going to set up a little mini studio in my condo at that time. And I had this weird little room that was surrounded by glass that's very similar to these studios I'm looking into where you guys are inside glass. It was a weird place inside my condo. So Johnny was like, this would make a perfect recording studio. So we got all the gear and we set up a little mini recording studio. And then Johnny got in touch with Steve Dawson, the Steve Dawson in Nashville, which was such an amazing opportunity. And he agreed to take us on and do a couple of recordings with us. He was offering a special deal through Hen House, his studio, because it was COVID. And Johnny was like, yeah, Heather, let's sign on for this. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll ride this. And we did one song and we loved it. So we did another song and then we loved it. So we ended up making a whole album that way, one song at a time or two songs at a time. We were just addicted at that point. So and the other people on the album are fantastic musicians too. So Steve, of course, who's legendary, and then Jeremy Holmes is the bass player, and he played with the Be Good Tanyas amongst other people, and Terminal Station, I think, is his other band. He's a phenomenal bass player. And then there's a couple of different drummers on there. Gary Craig, who's played with Anne Murray.
Oh, wow.
And John Ram was the other drummer on there, who's also done a fantastic job.
Leon or somebody Leon.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Sorry, I'm forgetting.
And then it's all done by distance, right?
Yeah.
Like you record in one place and then
Chris Gestrin.
Oh,
too.
Chris Gestrin on the new album, yeah. And then we've also did 2 songs with Adam Dobrez, who's one of the best guitar players. I've heard him call this, so I'm not just bragging, but he's considered to be one of the best guitar players on the West Coast. And he has a studio, and so a couple of the songs were done with him and his guitar playing. On Pender, yeah. His guitar playing is fantastic. So we got to work with the cream of the crop as far as we consider it, and it was such a lucky opportunity in what was a very difficult time. Mm-hmm. And so the first album, Just Beyond the Shine, is an outcome of that resilience, I would say, especially on your part, Johnny, and creativity of making the best of an unusual situation. Mm-hmm. So our plans are to make another album in 2022. We've started the process, and with Steve again and his crew. So we're excited about that. And I'm also recording some things on the side through my own project with Adam Dobrez as well. And so that song Takea about the wolf is one that we're hunkering down in the studio next week to do some more work on that. So exciting.
It's great to hear those stories of community resilience, especially in COVID, and still being able to go and collaborate with people as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, because we've had to do things by distance, we've been able to work with people that we probably wouldn't have been able to work with otherwise, wouldn't have had access to. So in a way, it's kind of democratized music in many, many ways. And everybody sort of self-producing from home. You see all kinds of stars online continually producing stuff on their phones and just streaming it out there. And yeah, it's been a really interesting time, I think. So, and we're writing. Again, Johnny had a little bit of a block there, but I think you're writing again. You've produced quite a few new
here and there, yeah,
recently, and I've been writing. So for some reason, COVID didn't have the same writer's block to me that other people had, and I'm not sure why that is, but I produced a lot. Maybe because I was home all the time, because I also work full time, and often I travel with my work, but none of the travel was happening. So I guess I had more time to write. So that was a good outcome of that. So hopefully things return back to normal soon, or somewhat normal.
That's great. So when is these upcoming projects coming out, if I'm allowed to ask?
Well, we're hoping they'll come out spring or summer, maybe fall.
Summer 2022.
Yeah.
It takes so long, because the writing, the recording, and then the mastering, the mixing.
And before all that, there's the waiting to see what happened with the grant applications.
Yeah, we're waiting on that. We've applied for a grant, but they're few and far between these days, and so we'll see what happens. I think even if we don't get the grant, we're going to go ahead. I mean, I'll say this very frankly, that it does not pay to be in the music business. everybody out there who's considering, oh, look at, I mean, we've had a tiny, tiny bit of success here. You know, we were picked on the BBC Scotland Album of the Week. We reached the NAC charts. We were on the North American College and Campus Radio charts for months, right? We're still on the Roots Music Report International chart at the #2 spot for BC, I believe.
Wow.
And we're still in the top 30. We've been on the top 30 for that for 6 months.
And my SOCAN check was 1 cent.
What?
So I just want to put it out there to everybody who, you know, this is about as successful financially as buying a horse. You know, you're not going to make money off your horse. You're going to just enjoy the horse, and you're going to have to feed the horse a lot of hay and do a lot of cleanup. And that's basically what we've taken on here, a couple of horses, and we love every minute of it. We don't care. We don't care if we make a cent. So if anybody's out there thinking that they want to do it for money, do something else. Do it for love. So
That's great. And where can people stay up to date with everything, like any social medias or just about the new projects?
we're on all the channels. So we have an Instagram account. Don't ask me to say all the handles. It's Peach and Quiet and Peach and Quiet Music in some form on all of these channels. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a website, peachandquietmusic.com. And we're on Bandcamp. If anybody feels the need to send any love via money our way, you can go on to Bandcamp and buy our album. Please do. And
especially
download it.
the digital one.
The digital one. We sold out of our first print of our album, and
Congratulations.
yeah. We're considering vinyl. We've had a lot of requests for it, especially because of that artwork from Michael Rycraft. We'll cross fingers and see if that comes to fruition. But there's also local shops carrying our CD. And because I work in the book industry, I work in publishing, I used my friends in the book industry to help me, because some of the bookstores in town sell CDs. And so Boland's is carrying it, for example, and Black Bond and Book Warehouse in Vancouver is carrying it. And then there's local record shops carrying, like Vinyl Envy, for example, carrying our CDs. So if anybody's local to Victoria, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton's also, there's record shops there carrying our CD. So that's how you get up to date with us, is buy the CD, follow us on the media channels.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's all of my questions. It's been such a pleasure to have you guys in today.
Asia, you've been such a treat to talk to. Thank you so much. I know you're pretty new at this yourself, and you kind of jumped in at the last minute, so it's been just lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
And I have to say, you have a great radio voice, so keep at it if you're inspired.
Thank you so
I
much.
agree. And I
Thank
just want to
you.
shout out to Troy. Thank you so much for
Yes.
having
Thank
us
you. Thank
on,
you.
and all the other people who set up all the technical equipment here. You guys are an awesome team. You know, it's mostly run by volunteers, and indie radio needs your support, everybody out there listening. So thank you so much for listening and being part of this fun day for us.
Thank you so much. We'll see you out and about.
Cheers.